CEE Brown in your face.
Have you heard of Everything at Once?
Do you know about Everything at Once?
It's internationally known.
Aliens listen to it.
It's the best ever.
If there's something you're looking for in the 814, or feeling a little bored and think there ain't no more, check out Everything at Once and allow it to be your source. It's that raw podcast that's always showing support, highlighting the scene. No need to take I-90 to Peep or 79 to see how it be. Interviewing your locals with mindsets that are global, innovators and creators on every single upload. So much going on in the EPA.
Incredible content.
Everything at Once will keep you up to date.
Amazing guests.
What you doing? Come through and hang with Tony and Dave.
Community driven.
Bringing everything at once from around the way. Everything at once from around the way. Hey.
Please listen. We love you. Everything at Once.
Everything at Once. We're so pumped, so amped up.
We're so ready. We got what you need. We know why you're here. You wanted to tune into another episode of Everything at Once.
Let me tell you something, brother. This is the best podcast
In Erie.
In Erie, brother.
Probably Pennsylvania. Quite possibly the world. The aliens think it's the best in the universe. I'm not sure.
Brother, it's the best in this universe or any universe you can find.
All those alternate universes as well. But before we get into the show, we first want to thank all of our Patreon producers. Brian G, Josh W, Ian D, Nick G, and Sadie M.
Patreon is an awesome way to support this show and say thank you to us. You can become a Patreon supporter by clicking the link below and choosing to be an intern, assistant, or producer level supporter.
That's right. For a mere $5, you can be an intern and really help us grow and expand and continue to bring you that incredible content that you all know, love, and deserve. We now want to also shout out all the businesses that sponsored this episode. These local businesses get the Everything at Once stamp of approval and are critical members of the Everything at Once community. We couldn't do without them. First, we want to thank Cauldron and Thorne.
Cauldron and Thorne is the world's largest witchcraft store. They're huge. They're gigantic. And they offer a conglomerate of crystals, books, ceremonial supplies, incense, herbs, oracle and tarot cards, and self-care items.
It's a real grocery store for the soul.
Right there.
Located just west of the Colony Plaza on West 8th Street.
They're open 7 days a week. Or 24 hours online, actually, and 24 hours online at cauldronandthorne.com.
That's right. We also want to thank one of our new sponsors, Solid State Construction. Solid State takes pride in all home remodeling projects. Solid State specializes in bathroom remodeling, kitchen renovations, window and door installation, custom design work, and more, including painting, flooring, drywall, siding, and decks. Get a free quote by calling Nick at 814-397-7854. Solid people, solid product, Solid State Construction. Got a problem with your car? Tommy's Automotive can take care of it. That's right. Tommy's Automotive can take care of brakes, exhaust, fluid changes, spark plugs, and all other maintenance needs.
Tommy's Automotive also does fluid film undercoating. Book your appointment today. Call Tommy at 814-384-8088.
And finally, we would like to thank Details by Pheonix.
Has your car been looking like death lately? Well, help it rise from the ashes with Details by Pheonix. They will have your car looking brand new. Those automatic car washes never do a good job, so save yourself the headache and the hassle and bring your car to Details by Pheonix.
Schedule your car detail with Pheonix by calling 814-981-0862. We have two musical guests from the kick-ass band Spades here for you this week in Everything at Once Studios.
Shelby, the lead singer, and Matt, the bassist.
And now, what the people came for. Welcome to the show. Yeah, right. We're going to hold on to that. If you guys ever decide to change your name to Cat Hair in the Microphone, we officially
Now,
call it that
there's a
right
question:
now.
Is a cat hair in the microphone or on the microphone?
We're going
and
with-
the microphone.
We're
cat
going
hair and the microphone.
Ours is very specifically cat hair in the microphone.
In
and,
the microphone.
So if you wanted to do on the microphone, I guess that would be all right.
But if it's in,
ducking
this
that
is on
copy.
record.
There's those,
Right.
those legal loopholes right
It's
there.
known by all of the world now, and everybody that listens to Everything at Once podcast, all of our international, intergalactic, and local listeners,
Yeah.
they know.
We now own the rights to that.
You said intergalactic, and my brain just started going.
Intergalactic,
Intergalactic,
intergalactic.
That's right. Just like that. Those same kinds of intergalactic beings listen to this podcast that inspired that song
Real funky.
by the Beastie Boys.
No wonder they haven't visited. Nah, I'm kidding.
Well, welcome to the show, you guys. We're super psyched to have you here.
Yeah.
We got Shelby and Matt from Spades.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Spades. We're on a poker table. You got to tell us how you got that name.
Well, so I've actually written a couple of songs about it at this point. I have crazy dreams, and they're always extremely vivid to the point that I don't even feel like I'm sleeping sometimes. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, I just went on a whole mission and now I'm back. So this one night I just dreamt that I found this underground music venue of some kind, and I was with these two other female musicians. Sorry, you're not a woman.
Oh, okay. Didn't make the cut for this one. Sorry, man. Damn it.
That's fine.
So I dreamt that I found this underground music venue, and that somebody had pulled me and was like, hey, we're about to go on, let's get started. And I was in this 3-piece female rock group that was just in Spades, or 4 of Spades. So I just felt like it was a sign that I always liked Queen and their kind of one name staple, rememberable kind of artistry. So I just kind of pulled Spades from it and was like, okay, this is what we're running with. My dreams told me so that's what we're gonna do. So
That's amazing. I love it.
And now I actually have the potential for a female drummer in the future, so it feels like things are falling into place according to the dream as well. So things are happening. It's very exciting.
I love being inspired by dreams. I wrote a song that came to me in a dream like a long time ago, and then I tried to sing it for Tyler and our other friend that was over, and I never sang it or really thought about it very much, and it was just real bad, and I felt super embarrassed about it afterwards.
It's never easy. It's never easy bearing your soul that way.
Right. Especially maybe if I would have practiced it a little bit first, that probably would have been a good move, instead of just being yeah, I'll sing it for you guys, thinking that I'm a musical genius and can just
well,
sing a song that I wrote.
Were, so.
Yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night, wrote the chorus to this song, and then wrote the rest of it the next day, and I was yeah, I got this song now, dude.
What was the name of it?
I don't remember. It didn't really have a name. It was a pretty sad song. I was really depressed. I was really depressed about that song. And it was all about your house being your prison that you just stay in and you never leave. And that was the song. And I was kind of concerned. I'm oh fuck, I should probably see somebody about this. So I'm glad that other people are getting songs from their dreams. I hope yours aren't as sad as mine are.
Oh, there's definitely some sad girl vibes here and there. I'll get into it a little bit later on, but there's definitely eras to the Spades music, and it definitely has a lot to do with where we were at the beginning, stuff going on in my personal life, losing members from the group, adding members to the group. So it's kind of been very formative based on its environment that it's watered in. So.
Absolutely. And it should come from that too. If you're making something real and something that's conscious, it should reflect where you're at in your life, I think. When you guys started this band, me and you were in school together.
We were, yes.
We were in our final term of psychology,
and
doing our capstone
I'm
research.
Go perform. That's what I'm doing.
It was good.
Focus.
It was so hard
Not
too.
my thesis.
Our professor was, I don't know about your guys' team, but he was kicking our ass the whole time in that research methods class.
He was kicking my ass because I was just sleeping through class a lot and just really struggling with that last year of school.
It was fucking hard.
That was a difficult couple of classes, but I'm really thankful for the team that I had for that group, because I still I still tell my friend Adrian, shout out Adrian, to
Yeah.
this day, that I am so thankful she helped me through stats, because I don't think I would have been finishing psychology if I didn't master stats thanks to her help. So
I feel like we barely made it through there when we presented our final thing. Like all of our other stuff was decent, and he'd just been shredding it to pieces the whole fucking
we
time.
were at that part of the process, yeah. Well, plus like COVID, getting hit with that
Yeah.
as we're just about to finish our
Leave, yeah.
projects and running participants. Oh my God, it was just a mess. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
It was a wild time. I'm glad that it's over.
I'm glad that we came out of it still as boisterous and doing fun things.
Right,
and
yeah.
not letting psychology kind of
Ruin
rule
our lives. Yeah.
Rule and ruin.
Yeah.
Of the duality of psych.
I think it was a magical time to be at Penn State because I too graduated
Yeah,
the same
that's
time
right.
as you did.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful place. I had
that's
a much
cool.
better time than you guys, I suppose.
It was fucking brutal.
It was a little brutal, but we got through it.
We
and
made it.
now we get to work a little bit together in our professional lives, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. And you're a rock star.
And I'm a rock star. That's the most important
Front woman.
thing. It was definitely not a priority at points for college reasons.
Right.
But thankful that I at least started back then. And I couldn't have imagined. I mean, there was plenty of moments where I was like, this is it. The COVID's going to kill this band. People not being available. I mean, I know I don't need to talk to anybody about how hard it is to find other musicians in Erie to be in a group.
Right.
And to stay in a group also.
Right.
And that's the
other
key,
part of
getting them
it.
to stick around.
And like showing up like at practices and all the other things that go into like making music. I can imagine anytime I have to organize people and get them to show up at a certain place at a certain time, it like makes me want to literally and figuratively blow my fucking brains out.
Yeah.
Just ripping hair out, pulling teeth, any other analogy that you could throw in
Well,
there.
it's interesting too because, how tough is it to mix like that practicality with like being a rock star, like keeping everything meshed together?
Right. Rock stars are not known for like their
Put together.
organization and
Right.
business skills, right?
Right.
Well, not just that, just like mixing like the daytime like obligations,
Right.
with being successful in your artistic creative craft. Like there's only so many hours in a day. It's got to be difficult sometimes to make that work.
Well, especially because, so we started off as an acoustic duo, which is when Tony and I kind of got together for the Treehouse series and doing that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, Tony. It was Tony Palooza or something.
Tony Palooza,
I
yes.
threw some big fucking rager and had people play music out in my treehouse, and
It
now we're
was-
bringing it back.
When he
off,
said that we
bringing
could
it
go
back.
up in the treehouse to play, I felt like a 10-year-old all over again. It
I
was
mean, it's a
great.
cool. You're like 20 feet up above everybody on stage with
Looking
everybody.
over the fire.
Yeah.
On a side note, real quick for all our listeners out there, it was actually Tony Dave Palooza.
That's right.
Not just Tony Palooza.
And Dave was actually in charge and orchestrated the whole thing, just as he does with this podcast.
That's right. But it really was Tony Dave Palooza. It's an annual event we
It's an
throw
annual
every year.
event. Yeah.
Credit where credit is due.
Dave's always the master behind all of the things.
It goes Tony, me, Gideon the cat.
Yeah, Gideon's
yeah.
actually
Gideon's in charge.
the highest in
He's the
charge.
most important.
The studio manager, if you will, keeps us all in line. Got to have that. Some responsible folks.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of responsible folks, me.
Yeah.
It's been the biggest thing that I have said throughout this band is that it's so difficult to get 5 grown adults in the same room at the same time, like you were saying about just schedule conflicts, jobs, whatever. My guitarist is actually a restaurant worker, so it became really difficult to get him for weekend gigs and just a regular schedule. And
Right.
so we've kind of hit our stride with him, especially in getting a routine worked out of sorts. But before it was kind of can you this day or this time? No, okay, what about this? And it was just always kind of ships passing in the night
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I'll be honest, Matt. I was kind of hoping His name's Matt too, right?
Yeah, so
I was kind
call
of
them
hoping
my-
for the other Matt. Not that we don't love you and aren't happy that you're here.
Oh no, it's fine. He'd be totally going off about it.
I'm sure
Oh,
he
yeah.
would be going. He would have
because he
a good
was
time.
there. That's
Yeah.
the important part. But
So I'm kind of covering, the old Spades, and
Yeah.
Matt is the newest to the group, and he's actually the only one that hasn't done an interview of this kind before.
Yeah.
So
What?
I thought it was his
Welcome.
time with the
Hello.
group.
I love taking podcast virginity from people. So
He talks about it. It's weird.
Yeah,
He's like, he's like,
He's got a secret
like,
wall
"Did you
in
see
the
that
back.
last person?
Yeah.
when someone's like, we've never done a podcast before, he'll get a hold of me and be like, I'm popping the cherry, you know?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
exactly.
okay, sis,
It's
just
real
stop
fucked
being-
up.
Well,
yeah.
I haven't either.
My
so.
ego and pride
there
like
you
really
go.
needs that, you know.
He's
Yeah.
well, he's very excited that you're here.
yeah, no longer shades
Well,
to
I'm
the
excited
podcast
to be
world.
here.
Yeah, I'm also as well excited. So
So what's it been like joining this somewhat established band already as the newest member?
fun, a lot of fun. I'd like to generally get as much musical experience as I can, really, in any sort of group I can get into, within reason, based on time and availability.
Sure. Is this the
I-
first band you played in?
No,
Hell no.
I've been in a lot.
Yeah, he's totally underselling himself right away. That's the Matt Royek way. Very humble, very, it's no big deal.
lot
But
of times-
actually, he's like a really big fucking deal.
That makes for good like teammates in any
it's great.
group thing,
Yeah.
whether it's a podcast, music group, whatever it is you're doing. You don't want somebody that's awful and a huge narcissist such as myself being involved.
Right.
I feel like, yeah, another podcast for another time.
That's why Dave's in charge.
I feel like the people that talk themselves, like don't talk themselves up, really are like amazing
best,
talents.
yeah.
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 You're like, oh yeah, I don't do much. Like I just, I played with Green Day. Like something like that.
Ironically enough, I am still kind of in a Green Day tribute band.
I knew it. You just had that look to
He
you.
does have that vibe, for
Oh
sure.
my goodness, yeah.
The dark glasses.
Green Day was actually one of the first big musical influences I had in forming my bass playing. Back when I started, when I was 14, 15, right around there.
Perfect time to listen to Green Day.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
It was
That
was just around the time American Idiot came out too, which was even more funny because I started way back with like Dookie as opposed to American Idiot. Everybody else is just like, "Oh man, wake me up when September ends," and I'm like, "Nah, brah, I'm going the other way."
See, I feel
But-
exactly the same about my Green Day affection or like early Green Day.
Yeah.
Definitely so much better than anything new. I feel like I feel like that about a lot of bands actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to see him back around that time when I was like 14, and he was going into recovery at the time.
Yeah.
So
So-
he canceled tours, and I was super bummed about it.
Yeah, it sounds.
It's the heartbreak of the year as a
Very much on brand.
young person.
But the opportunity was kind of came up in an unfortunate way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So after we were the acoustic duo for 6 months or so, we had this amazing human, Curtis, that had been at almost every single one of our shows from start to finish. He was there. He was always there, and so he was one of the first people that Matt Patty met when he moved up here after living in Florida for so long. So Matt and I met on a whim just at the King's Rook Club, asked for a light for a cigarette, and we just hit it off and started talking about starting a band. And next thing you know, we wrote our first song like the following week, and it was
Boom.
crazy whirlwind, like natural chemistry, which was just really exciting because I had kind of gone through a couple different people, and same thing, everybody was in other groups. And then so Curtis, after so long, he was, I think, 60 years old when he started learning how to play the bass, which I had a lot of respect for, being at that point in your life. And, like, screw it, I'm going to pick up a new instrument. He already played guitar. He was a great guitarist, wrote his own music and everything, and he just decided he wanted to learn the bass. So he actually played with us for the next year and a half or so after, we invited him to come be a part of the group. And he actually passed away in November, had a lot of health issues and some ongoing things for a while. But up to the very end, I mean, he did not want us to know he was hurting or that he was sick. He always showed up with a smile on his face, always had enthusiasm. I mean, just like the most genuine, wholesome person one of the most wholesome people I've ever met in my life. And I am so thankful to have had the time that we had for those first, 2.5 years. And I was like, there's no way. I mean, Curtis was kind of like my rock in the group because Maddie is classic rock star. And then we have our 52-year-old veteran drummer, George, who is also my coworker. So I kind of just roped him in and begged him to be part of the group. So there was some gruff, a little hard to work with personalities in the group. And Curtis would always just keep laying down that Stahey B line and rolling with the jam. And I would just grin at him from across the room and just like, you see this, guys? Curtis knows what the fuck is up. And he would just keep it rolling. And when we lost him, it was like this big, deep wound that was in the band. And I was like, there's no way that I'm going to find somebody that's half as genuine, half as interested, or positive, or can fill these big shoes. And those shoes are overflowing with love and goodness on the Royek side of things now. So we're
make me blush.
Very thankful. And I really didn't even expect to have somebody like Royek in the group because he's in 4 other groups, right?
4 other at the time,
and helps run a business. So I don't know how he eats, sleeps, or poops half the time. So
busy man.
Are you a robot?
yes.
We did say there are no robots allowed, so and you have to tell us the truth in your robotic nature.
My programming can't tell you that.
The big 3. Asimov, what have you done? So that's how I got into the group, and I'd offered what that was the opportunity, and it's been a lot of fun.
I was really excited when you asked. I was really surprised to find somebody so quickly too. Yeah. Which felt good that it had enough of a reputation for interest, which is a big moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a lot of fun. I was just starting to say I really enjoy getting into a bunch of different groups and trying different styles and doing all kinds of different stuff. It's not too bad in terms of time management or whatever. I mean, I guess
you make it happen.
I'm underselling, I guess, again.
I don't know how you do it.
Like I said, well-practiced skill. Basically, just...
And the education for it.
I suppose I should bring that in at
there.
some point, Happen to have myself a music performance degree, so I'm...
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We got one of the real professionals, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's in...
That piece of paper says so.
Yeah. Music theory and composition, so here I am writing songs, except not the songs they thought I was going to write, which has come up a couple times. People are like, oh, man, are you still writing? Are you still composing or whatever? I'm like, yeah, but it's more... contemporary.
Why? What were you expecting to be making?
Well, I actually did at one point apply for the master's grad assistant opening at Bowling Green University, right as I was getting out of undergrad. And actually, I was probably planning on writing, like, if you're familiar with 12-tone or post-tonal music, it's really esoteric stuff, but I was probably going to be writing that because
kind of like along the lines of like freeform jazz kind of level of
like freeform jazz meets psychedelic and distortion.
No, I'm going to try and give it as much of a cliff notes as I can on it. Basically, it's like taking all of the notes of a common scale and assigning them a number, and then having to go through every single number in a sequence before you can repeat a number. So it doesn't rely on like a key signature or any sort of place of common tonal center. It's just kind of sounds like noise, but if you do it right, it sounds really cool.
But it also sounds a lot less fun than what you're already doing.
That's true. That's true.
Right off the bat, based on the description.
It sounds like a whole lot that is
like a science experiment.
Way above my head.
Oh yeah, no, it's kind of that in that regard. It's very much like a academic kind of writing. But the stuff I'm doing now is a lot more fun because it's more personable, more human. I actually get to write things that reflect the human experience, which is...
And boy, do they.
Far and away, way better. So
when it comes to writing a song, are you writing lyrics and you writing bass, or is there like a...
So historically, it's been... I mean, you talked about songs coming to you and just kind of having a presence in your mind, and you need to do it right then and there. So my ongoing joke with myself is it either takes me 5 minutes or 5 months to write a song. Right. So I'm either constantly gathering, little lines of music or a sound for something and sounding it out, because I'm I have 10 plus years in vocal music, so I can sound those things out, but I can't apply that knowledge like I used to be able to give it notes and sound. So it's been kind of nice to have Royek to add that more professional, structured component to things. But for the most part, I mean, I write a lot of the lyrics. I don't know why I said a lot. I write all the lyrics. I did get some good ones from our drummer George recently that we're trying to work into something really fun and new for you. But for the most part, I mean, I'm doing a lot of the lyric writing and kind of collaborating with the group on that. And we'll all kind of, I'll give like a general vibe. Like I want this, for example, Maiden Voyage is our single that's coming out within the next couple of weeks.
What?
So yeah, really pumped about that. Shout out to BFE Studios for helping us get that recorded, and Brandon Saliga helping us produce that.
Yeah, Brian is also another one of those people who's
awesome.
doing everything for everyone all
and he's
the
a
time.
farmer.
Absolutely.
I don't know how he has time. Like
Yeah.
I'm amazed by so many of these musicians around me. I have one band and one job, and that's plenty for me. But yeah, we kind of bring it all to the table, and I'll give like a general, I want this to be kind of like a beachy song, but not like ukulele beachy song. Like I want this to be a ship's first sailing taking us on a journey kind of tune, and island breeze coming through,
There you go.
Setting the mood. So we're more about feeling and moods and keeping things loose rather than saying, okay, these notes.
This is it.
And this is what we're doing.
This progression.
So we try to really make it a collaborative process, and Royek's been a great help with that because he, like I said, has that professional level of being able to explain something, which works well for Logan, our keyboardist, who is more on that level of things, and then Matthew, Patty, and I are more of the, no, it goes dir instead of dir.
There you go.
Very simple,
Very technical terms.
But I mean,
it.
really though, like Royek knows how to kind of simplify so that we can both be on the same page, and is kind of the bridge between the higher level of professional music and the lower level. I found your cat.
Nice. She's coming down here to make sure we do a good job. Yeah, that's Gideon, the studio manager. She's a critical member of the team. She does a good job.
She'll jump up here maybe.
Yeah, I'm
there we
sure
go.
she'll be checking everything out.
Cats are great.
But to go back to the music writing, I think that's really interesting that you have like this this technical understanding and like the simplicity of not the technical understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need both.
Yeah.
I
To
think
make a
you
good
need
song, I think so too.
a lot of both of those elements, and also just like flexibility. I mean, we've had so many songs that we've been working on for a long time, and things that are just kind of coming together and actually getting back to writing again. So it's actually pretty funny. I started writing, kind of like a classic rock, straight beat, structured, simple. Pretty much all of our songs are at least 6 to 7 minutes, and it's not by trying. That's just how it goes. We've been adding and expanding, and they never feel that long, which is funny to me. But this one was supposed to be quick, 5 minutes, quick and easy, simple beats, and we brought it to the table as kind of this thing that was supposed to be simple, and it was like the first thing that everybody was like, well, this is too simple, and this is this, and it was like meant to be this really easy thing, but ended up being the one that people had so many problems with in learning and adapting the material, which is funny because everything else that we've already done is so much more complex and not traditional, I would say, in a lot of senses. Right. But Royek and I kind of have the same music interest background, so naturally it's an easier process sometimes for us to kind of take those indie rock kind of structures and just do whatever the hell you want, and it sounds good, it feels good. That's really all that matters. But
that's the key.
But yeah, there's been some new developments and stuff that we've been writing after it feels like forever. With losing Curtis, it was just a big shot in the foot kind of trying to get back on the horse kind of scenario. So it's been nice to actually get back to having stuff pop into my head on the fly like that, and being able to write more with ease and have the inspiration.
It's difficult to, I think, to find that balance between like something that's really technical and really advanced and something that's simple and easy enough to sound good and catch in your head that you can remember. Like I listen to a lot of like death metal and like melodic death metal and stuff like that, and all of that's super technical and super fast paced, and you need to have like there's like a noise happening all the time. And it's interesting because after listening to that, I can still appreciate like slower folk songs, you know what I mean? Something that's a little bit more laid back, where it's just a guy and a guitar.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be this, you know, melodic symphonic masterpiece all the time.
You almost kind of sound like our keyboardist a little bit right here, because one of his mottos is like, he thinks that if you can't make it acoustic and play it by a campfire, then it's not like really good music that is adaptable that way. Like he's very, very traditional in that sense. Like it's kind of funny. We kind of call like Logan and George like our two dads of the group, because they both have that like, okay guys,
let's keep it simple.
Let's get it together.
Yeah.
Let's stay on task. Let's keep it easy. Kind of mindset.
I mean, look at like the White Stripes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just a guitarist and a drummer, and sometimes the drum is just one beat the whole song, and that's all. And it's amazing. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
You really
just
don't
because
have to
something.
try hard.
Yeah. Well,
in ways.
You still have to. I think
to.
you still have to try hard, but you need to be able to recognize when something is enough to carry the song. You know what I mean? And not have to overcomplicate it to the point where it's not its original attention or what it's trying to accomplish, you know?
Or it's trying too hard to be something new and different.
And original and unique, and we have to make all the noise. I have to play I also love it when like drummers have like the tiniest fucking drum kit ever. I don't know why. There's just something inside of me that really likes that, when they have like just a snare, a bass drum, and like maybe 2 or 3 cymbals up there, and they make like incredible fucking music with it. And then you see these other people with gigantic drum kits, and they don't even play half of them. Or sometimes I feel like they need to just like add in like, oh, I need to hit this drum like at least X number of times to this song just so I can use my whole kit.
I have to disagree.
Okay.
Here we go.
Because I like the complexities. Like, I don't know. I was just at a Dead show a couple days ago, and they got 2 drummers, and
Was
they
it
got just
on Tuesday?
on Monday.
Oh, okay.
In Pittsburgh.
Oh wait, it was Monday.
Yeah.
Our keyboardist was there.
Nice.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, and they got the 2 drummers. They got all the drums. They do drums in space as like their interlude. And I mean, at one point he was fucking using maracas to hit the drums with, and like it was incredible. Like it's
trying different things.
It's just trying different things. I think like some of that mind expanding stuff is, you know, one of the first bands that I got into when I was real young, you know, is Pink Floyd, you know, and they're definitely, you know, like just that experimental like rock or experimental art is extremely interesting to me too, and I think it can absolutely work even if you throw a bunch of complexities into it.
Right, and I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with having a massive drum kit or having a drummer and like a percussion player that plays like wind chimes and like bongos and all sorts of other things in there, because that is beautiful and amazing in its own respect. I just like to, there's just something
doing so much with so little.
Exactly, it's amazing.
It's like mine.
And I was just saying that I'm more impressed when people have like a massive thing and are able to you know,
keep it all organized.
So we're just on different sides of the same coin.
Though ultimately it does boil down to what exactly you're trying to go for. Really inherently, you know, makes it, what are you trying to do determines what the complexity of it is. I mean, if you're trying to describe, bringing back the old theme, robots and crazy technological maelstrom of chaos, you know, you're not going to have just a guy and a guitar. I mean, you probably could. Maybe he'll do something crazy with it. It'll be a lot of fun. But, like, you would have a lot of things going on at once. You would have harsh dissonant sounds. You would have all kinds of just really packed-in, clustered
and
noise.
Huge pedal racks.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Our guitarist was texting. There's a big sale going on at World of Music.
The warehouse sale.
Yeah, the warehouse sale. It's a big deal. And How many pedals do you think Maddie has? He's probably got at least 6.
On his board right now.
I want to say at least
I feel like
6.
that's
I'd
not
say
even that
7.
many.
7.
I feel like I've seen pedal racks that are
yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
20 fucking pedals on
yeah,
there.
it's all just hooked into each other.
Right.
Yeah.
This one
exactly,
loops. This one plays like this sound that I don't even like. That's not even my guitar. It's just something that I like
one-
to throw in there.
This one just
Certain
goes to
organ.
11. That's all it does.
Right.
It looks pretty. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
so important to be able to utilize all those tools that are available to you.
Right.
When we
But
started
not
as the
utilize
duo,
them just to utilize them. Utilize them because they add something good to the song,
Right.
and not just to like throw in a cool noise every now and then that you feel obligated to have.
Right. I mean, there are instances now and again where you just do things to do them, or whatever.
Sure.
Let's see how this sounds.
Exactly.
Let's try this fiddle in this part.
It reminds me of this one track from this band I was in college. It was called Look Left. Was a furry rock band.
It took me a while to get that one.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what kind of rock band?
It was a furry rock band.
furry.
Not a
Oh,
furry,
okay.
but
Okay.
We have a
some
couple
friends of
Furries
mine-
followers out there on the.
Shout out to
Yeah.
the furry.
Yeah, to the furries.
It was a good time, but it was the last album we wrote. The second to last track had all this. Actually, it had me doing a narration, and then
boy.
and it layered in sounds that the singer had recorded on his little Zoom recorder, like a basketball game, and it was
Sweet.
supposed to just build and build and build. And he's like, I wanted to do this thing where it speeds up and gets all crazy, and so we're like, okay. So he goes in Pro Tools, he finds the effect, and starts to do it. But instead, what it does is it shifts the pitch down and then raises it. So we're listening to it and just geeking out because it's like bunch of noise, and just like going crazy. And we thought, it's perfect because we just tried to throw it in there and it's great.
That sounds like a mating call.
It was.
Thanks for getting him to do it twice.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Now it's recorded forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so-
got
Thank God for
shades of that one meme. I love you and I miss you.
Yes. And it's great too to be able to experiment like that creatively too,
yeah.
because it sounds like that wasn't like your original intention for what you were trying to do with that effect, but it
Right.
ended up turning out really cool.
Right, and that happens sometimes. Just genuinely stumble upon something that you weren't thinking that was going to happen, and boom.
Like Quiet. So for our song Quiet, rewriting that low bass part together,
Oh,
and just
yeah,
our
yeah, yeah,
reactions
yeah.
of, because we're trying to, of course, keep a lot of the stuff that Kurt had written for the bass parts, but there was certain, old recordings that we had gone through and just found these really cool snippets of things, and it's just in general, it's always been a kind of adding to it reformative process throughout. But I remember when we started talking about this low part for our oldest song, and just drop the bass down low and simplified the notes more. And him and I, every time on stage now, we just get the stank face going and just rock it out. It's just that those little tweaks. I mean, it's amazing what changing a couple of notes and changing the timing of something, or just adding something random. Like for our song Boys, I always kind of lead into the solo with "Okay, take it away, boys," because it's like this classic like swing style song, and it's just really grown into this easily one of my favorites, if not probably my second favorite in comparison. I can't pick a favorite.
Right.
I love all the music. I can't really put my finger on one thing that I'm most proud of, but I mean the single I'm really proud of. But I'm just shocked that I can get a group of dudes to be so about music written for women.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a lot of tunes like that, but I definitely like the rockier sounds that the guys are bringing to the group, and I think that's probably more comfortable when I'm not singing about how men suck and that sort of thing.
Hey, I'm just the bass player. I just work here.
Right. Erie has like a pretty big female music community, especially female front women.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's come out of nowhere over the last several years too, which is really refreshing to see.
And it's good to reflect that because, I mean, some of my favorite people one of my favorite people to listen to right now is the lead singer of Paramore, Hayley Williamson.
I'm going to see Paramore on Sunday, and
that's going to be so cool. I love their new album so much.
Oh yeah, this is why. It's very good.
And I love her like independent albums as well. They just give me such good fucking, I don't know, good feelings, and I like it.
Easily one of the most amazing female frontmen of all time.
Right.
And I've always been just enamored by her stage presence and her fun and just, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to be awesome and be myself kind of vibe.
Their music has changed so much over the years too. Like back when we were in high school and middle school and shit, like it's so much different now than where it was. And I think that's like, a lot of times people can do that wrong. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
Like different musicians can do that wrong and change their sound, and it's not, I don't appreciate it or like it as much as I used to, but this is one of the ones where I feel like it's gotten better over time.
It doesn't feel like a sellout.
It doesn't feel like a sellout. If anything, it feels like the opposite of a sellout, because I mean, the stuff that they got famous on is completely different.
Yeah.
And it's not poppier, it's not more, I don't know. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. It just seems a lot more indie and fun.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see her in the flesh. After so many years of having her
actually
as a model of...
You already saw them on this podcast right now. You already saw them. And it was amazing.
I was confused.
Because of the time where this podcast is going to come out. Sorry. It was like a multi.
That show was incredible.
I'm sorry, I'm like not,
in the future.
Yeah, you forgot that you already saw that.
In the future.
Right.
Wow.
That one caught me off guard.
This studio actually is similar to the TARDIS. I don't know if you guys are Doctor Who fans, but the space traveling photo booth or like telephone booth that goes through time and is much larger than it appears and all that stuff. So it's the same studio environment that helps people travel through time.
So it works.
Yeah,
there's a thought experiment for you. How many people remember what a phone booth actually is?
Oh, I remember. They used to have the phone books chained into them.
That's right.
People would just mess them up anyway.
Covered in graffiti.
Oh,
I went to Florida to visit my dad last year, and I was coming back, and there was this, big telephone sign, and it was where a bunch of, payphones used to be, and there was one single payphone left. And it was just this, just really eerie sight of all these empty spots where they used to be in the single one, crazy.
So this will never come up again probably in context, but one of the dreams that I had as a kid I'll never get to fulfill, because I always thought it was so cool in movies when the phone just rang randomly in a phone booth and you could just go in and answer it. I always wanted to do that with my life, but cell phones have kind of ruined that.
Wasn't that the plot to the film Phone Booth?
It was.
Yeah. Literally, that was the plot to Phone Booth.
Yeah, that could happen. That could be you, Dave.
Like
save the world from
I was thinking more like I'm walking in New York and a phone rings and it's supposed to be like a mafia call, and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
And then you end up killing somebody.
I don't want to kill anybody. I just want to answer a phone.
In my mind,
so you're not going to follow through with the mission that's given to you by fate?
Yeah.
No.
In my mind, it's even better if you go the opposite direction on it, and it turns into one of those. No, this is Patrick.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Just like the SpongeBob. That'd be amazing.
For the record, I don't and never have wanted to kill anybody. Which camera is it on? No. I've never wanted to kill anybody.
Have to specify.
Confessions.
That's right.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. Let that bloodlust out.
All these years of all these short jokes, I'm over it.
Oh, man. I feel that.
Oh, no. I feel that, too.
Yeah.
For those of you listening at home, I'm not even 5 feet tall. And
Watch out.
It kind of sucks.
That makes the best. I feel like there's certain advantages to that psychologically, though.
I can hide in cupboards.
Well, there's physical advantages like being able to hide in cupboards, but psychologically, I feel like it makes us other short people, at least me, need to prove myself. And that gives me drive and determination to get things accomplished.
Oh, you underestimate me because I'm small.
Exactly.
Well, here's this big voice coming out of this little body on stage, and Spitfire personality. Bet
Right.
you didn't see that coming.
Boom.
There it is.
That Napoleon complex is a real
Oh
thing,
yeah,
so
it's
watch
totally,
out.
Totally
That's
a thing.
true.
I definitely apologize to the group and just friends in general. Like, sorry, I'm having a little bit of a Napoleon moment.
Right.
Sorry.
I never apologize to anyone for anything.
Isn't it kind of cool having
Never
a lower
sorry.
center of
Life's too short to
gravity?
be sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what
maybe
I'm
it
looking
is.
for.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't agree with me.
I'm just big old dude, and have always been a big old dude.
See, I didn't get the approval from the other short people here, so I feel the low center of gravity. It's hard to get tackled.
Yeah.
I got stumpy legs I can churn through.
Physical skills.
Exactly.
I was just hard to tackle.
All right. Well, you know what?
Yeah. Look at you with all your big advantages, you giant, strong, beautiful man.
I didn't pick it.
It's the classic like bass player vibe. Like, tell me this man does not look like a bass player.
I can see it
right now.
Oh my goodness.
And
yeah.
you should see him on stage. Like,
You have to
dancing
play like a
around,
million
too.
other instruments too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Down the list, Royek.
Yeah, it's
Let's-
true. Yep. Yeah.
I'll just leave now. See you guys. Thanks.
No. Don't go. Nah.
It's your podcast now. Your Spades now.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
What a heady
I
responsibility.
hope you're ready with singing about men.
Yeah, all the song we demand the same songs and the same lyrics. You're not allowed to change anything.
I'm always up for a challenge. Yeah, no, I do play a bunch of other instruments as well, which is part of my job.
Right.
I fix brass and woodwind music instruments for a living.
I just got a didgeridoo.
Ooh,
No
nice.
fucking way.
Yeah, I won it in a Chinese
I
auction.
love
There it is.
didgeridoo.
I don't know how to play it. Well, I can make like two noises. I don't know if there's sounds yet, but I make two noises with it, and apparently it's really loud, according to my girlfriend. And she says I'm not allowed to play
Not allowed to play it.
certain times of the
You
day.
have to have a special didgeridoo room.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll go out in the treehouse and bother the neighbors instead. That'll be.
You've lost your
What a
didgeridoo
neighbor.
privileges.
What a neighbor you are. Just
Yeah.
imagine sipping your morning coffee. Oh,
Well,
there
my
he's
neighbors
over
are
there.
down with it for the most part. I mean,
Didgeridoo treehouse
yeah.
again.
when we had Tony Palooza and you guys played, we had bands on till like midnight and nobody cared. When Tyler used to live here, they would have practices in the backyard and in the treehouse all the time, and my neighbors would be like, "Oh, Tony, you're such a talented musician," and I would be like, "Yeah, that was me back there."
Yep.
Just kidding.
Well, that's why they appreciated it. It was Tyler Smilo playing, not you on the didgeridoo.
Exactly.
That does help. Helps quite a
Probably
bit.
makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, shut the fuck up over there. I thought you were a good."
Right. I'm not even
musician."
making sounds yet. I still consider them noises for the most
Yeah.
part. So, but I've been practicing over the past few days that it's been in my possession. So maybe
What is
someday.
music if not noises?
Exactly. Organized noises.
I can't call it that yet. My girlfriend thinks I was making
Well,
a
there's
sound.
also disorganized noises.
That's a whole
Noise
different-
is a whole music.
Music.
Relationship between
Voila.
sound and the human soul.
right
You know.
over math.
Yeah, sometimes. Math rock.
I'm about it.
Yeah.
So we were saying you play a ton of different
I
instruments.
do, yeah. Which does help.
Do you bring any of that to? Do you guys have any tracks where you play something wild?
Not yet. I think at least for the initial stuff, we wanted to make sure it was the same on instrumentation. that
Right.
It would
Yeah.
be on stage.
Everybody in the group plays more than one thing,
Yeah,
though. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely something we've talked about a lot, is just kind of doing a musical chairs kind of situation and
Yeah,
swapping things out.
that would be cool. Some of my favorite bands that I've ever seen all like put down their instruments and then they like trade and then
Yeah.
they come
That's so
back and
fun.
it's like, oh my god, how do these people do this? I mean, not only to be good at like one instrument, which I can't even manage, but to be good at like multiple instruments is an entirely different fine job.
Well, thanks. It took a lot of practice.
I'd imagine so.
yeah.
A lot of time, a lot of dedication, but that's really what it takes to be good at anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just time.
Got to put the work in. That's all more.
10,000 hours of conscious effort.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about how many efforts. Efforts? Wow. There it is. How many hours of effort I have put in. So,
To all these various instruments.
correct.
But bass, guitar, tuba, French horn.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Tuba was my major instrument in college. Bass is pretty much my secondary, and then
That
guitar.
makes sense for a giant human being like you to be playing a giant horn.
I was
like
just
the tuba.
playing a tuba today, and I was going through going, oh my god! That's like one of those things like somebody that used to like do long distance running all the time when they were younger, and they decided to go take a jog around the block, and they're like, it's been so long. It was the same thing, but with like my lips. I was just like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. And, you can go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I feel the same way, except with cocaine. It doesn't
There you
have
go.
a joke.
It's not the same.
It's not the
No,
same. as
I
it
would
used to be.
say different track, but
It's like riding a bike, though, I heard.
would not know. At any rate, though, whole bunch of stuff. Basically, if it is a music instrument, I played it at one point.
So is
One way or another.
is the bass your favorite instrument to play?
I'd say so.
Okay.
It's really fucking good.
Aw,
Yeah.
thanks.
Who are some of your bassist inspirations?
I can tell you the whole story, I suppose.
I really just want to hear two particular bassists to be your inspiration.
I want to hear one.
I want you to tell me who you think it is.
That's
I
a big
want you to
ask.
tell me who would think it is with me.
This is a game. You win the Everything at Once podcast fucking, I don't know, handshake of approval.
Haley Williams, my one singer.
Yeah.
You'll
Done.
win. You'll
I
win
win.
my 5,000 chip if you can guess.
Ooh, yes, $5,000 chip.
I don't know. I'm just going to start listing. If I stumble on it, fate has smiled upon me.
Indeed.
So it started out, like I said, with Green Day, like Mike Dirnt, really getting into those sorts of lines and stuff like that, and was doing jazz band in high school, just as a natural consequence of being a guy who can play bass.
Sure.
Pretty much the only guy who could play bass in high school. And it was right around my sophomore, junior year of high school that I stumbled on the Jaco Pastorius and just blew my mind wide open as to the possibilities of what I could do on the instrument. I don't know if you're familiar with Jaco at all, but it's like a big, huge influence. And then from there, it was like Victor Wooten and like Bootsy Collins a bit. I was really enjoying those kinds of lines and stuff. And Peter Hook of Joy Division, and later on New Order, that kind of thing. I mean, I can still, to her infinite consternation, rip out the line from Love Will Tear Us Apart. And she's like, oh, it's that song Royek likes.
Yeah.
Well, you've gotten 0 for 2.
You've gotten 0
Oh, yeah, no, I got
one.
0 for 0. I'm a strange bird. I know.
Well,
What are yours?
Everything.
What are
Mine-
yours?
Ones
mine
you
was
could
my
say.
favorite bassists are Les
There it is.
Claypool
Oh, okay.
and Flea.
I was gonna say Flea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one that
I'm,
came to my mind.
I'm extremely basic. Mine is Paul McCartney.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I appreciate all those guys, definitely, for sure. I have ripped out some Les Claypool, like Primus lines before.
Oh, yeah.
They're fun. Because they're different. And
Exactly.
it's that usage of the instrument that's beyond just standard technique. So much of the time is just, do, 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 do. That's all you do in some variation thereof. But to be able to make different sounds with it and be able to express yourself in all kinds of different ways, that's the big thing.
Exactly. And that comes with any instrument and any like good music, I think, is being able to bring some sort of unique appeal that other people aren't doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons that I like what we're doing is because
It's very diverse.
very
Yeah.
different.
I would
Yeah.
say that we're not really any specific genre, but for sake of making it easier for the customer to be interested, it's indie rock. or
They're not
alternative
customers,
rock.
they're fans. They're roaring, loving, supporting
It
fans.
certainly felt that way at Celebrate Erie last year. We did just find out that we're going to be on Celebrate Erie again this year, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of really great shows. I mean, we just did Toxic Prom last month.
Yeah, that was fun.
We dressed to the nines for it. It was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. We've had a lot of really rewarding shows, so that's been really nice. But one thing I will say, and I was thinking about it today, mainly because Boogie Nights by Heatwave was stuck in my head all day. I'm so looking forward to writing some like funk inspired stuff,
Oh,
because
man.
funk is it's slowly but surely becoming my favorite genre, just because I love to dance, I love to groove. Anything that gets me to start bumping
Right.
is just
I've always been a
the
huge
best.
Jamiroquai fan personally as far as funk goes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love all funk.
Oh.
Anything with a nice strong bass line.
I feel like
usually
funk
is a
can get
good-
incorporated into so many different genres too, and just make
yeah.
it like
Oh yeah.
30% better than what it was. You know, if
No
you ju-
idea what we're gonna write with it yet, but I know that there's funk on the horizon.
I feel like Matt is
Absolutely.
like the man for that too, because like how I identify like a solid funk song is like through ripping groovy bass.
Yeah, yeah. That is a vernacular I'm familiar with. Again, out of one of those things, just listening. That's one of the big parts about getting good at anything. To bring that there is it just listening and interpreting and understanding whatever you're consuming. And part of that is just, oh, that line sounds really cool. I want to learn it. And then now I've been picking up on funk bass lines. There it is.
Boom, funk is in the future.
Yeah, Matt Patty, I have to specify this is Royek and that's Patty.
Okay,
So these are my Matt
I was confused. I
bookends.
thought you were saying Rick earlier. I'm like, oh, dude, I fucked up his
No.
name right in the
Royek.
beginning.
No.
Yeah.
One thing with Patty that's always been our methodology is just sounding stuff out and kind of getting a feel for things and that sort of writing style working together. So again, it's just feeling things out. We've just been really just experimenting, which has been a lot of fun. And now I have a nice practice space where we can all kind of collectively gather rather than poor Matt hitting his head on ductwork in my crusty basement in my last rental. So
Uh-oh.
we've upgraded the band space, we've upgraded the band, we've expanded to being a 5-piece. There's been a lot of really great positive development. So
It's so good to
been
see like growth too.
Oh my God. Like I said, there was so many moments where I was like, this is it. It's over. We're too busy. We're having the pandemic. We're doing this. We're doing that. How are we going to even pull this off? And then suddenly the silver lining would fly through and
Boom.
we were back in business like nothing happened, which is it's so grateful. So
Where
grateful
there's
for
a
the journey.
where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what they say,
absolutely.
Or where there's a Spades band, there's 2 Mats.
Fuck yeah.
That's
And they make it happen.
that's even
A
better.
very literal statement.
You got to make that happen. Whoever wants to come in.
That should be a T-shirt.
There's 2 mats.
There's 2 Mats. It's like a thing. I made a joke about it pretty recently that there's so many, like every Matt that I've met within the last 3 years or so has been good at guitar. And my nephew's name is Matt, and he just started picking up guitar. I'm like, you're fine. You're
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
one.
You'll
that's
do
gonna
great.
be
You'll do great, kid. Stick to
just,
it.
born with it.
There's way too many mats in the scene.
It's
We
true.
have to thin it down.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
One Matt to rule them all.
One mat
Yeah.
to rule them all.
Okay, we're gonna have to duke it out next practice.
With the
I
golden
guess.
guitar pick.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like this has happened in a Tenacious D.
Yes. definitely.
Universe. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out for Matty B. He's got a mean right hook.
That's right.
There was a Matt who used to live here who was a good guitarist.
That's true.
Yeah.
He still is a good guitarist. He doesn't live here anymore, though.
Yeah, but he's not as cool now that he doesn't live
Exactly.
here. Yeah.
That's right.
Who was that?
His name's Matt. He's. I don't think he's really in a band or anything right now, but he's
okay.
kind of recording and making pedals now. That's like his new thing. He's been
Oh,
telling
okay.
me
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Just having a good time doing stuff like that. So maybe someday we'll see one of his pedals on one of your guys' boards.
Right,
Or
you
something.
never know.
But
There you go.
he's like he's a really smart dude. He was a physics PhD almost.
shit.
Oh, wow.
So he's like doing it the
Almost
old
is an
school way
achievement.
with like actual like transistors and like all the different
Oh yeah,
parts.
yeah,
And,
absolutely. Solid state stuff.
Yeah. but that's a whole different story right now. We're not talking about him. He's not.
We're not talking about him. He's not
Oh,
here.
he's not here right
Back
now.
to me.
Yes.
The Queen
Yeah.
of Spades.
Boom, right there.
But
You
yeah.
were gonna define your music for us.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like.
Your genre.
Yeah, like indie rock. I mean, it's kind of the to summarize. But then people are like, "What's indie?" And indie is whatever the fuck it is. So, so alt rock is kind of where I stay.
Indie
just-
alt rock.
Yeah, indie
It's a
alt rock.
broad enough category
Yeah,
that it fits
covers
everything.
and the general, layman's term person can understand.
I would say we definitely have like a blues rock influence.
Yeah, we're
for
a little
sure.
bluesy,
Blues rock
little Black
influence.
Keys sound,
Yep.
A little bit of funk to come.
Yeah.
some funk on the horizon. Very excited. More like classic style rock coming down the pike as well, and just other stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, there's
It's your band. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
there is no shortage of
Precisely.
lyrics. I've just been hoarding over the years. We've just been busy. There's just so much going on, and I don't think you can really just sit down and write all the time. It has to be natural. It has to flow. And there's definitely been some songs like that for me that have just been like in a snap. Like the single for Maiden Voyage that I wrote in 5 minutes before I even had a band, and I could hear all of the parts in my head. I just like had this. I was in the process of starting the group, and I was actually watching The Office, and it was when Michael Scott and Pam and Ryan. Spoiler: if you haven't seen The Office, you're way too late to the party.
Yeah, sorry guys. Missed that boat.
So they go off to go start their own paper company, and Michael's, being dramatic like usual, like myself. And he's just like, this is it. This is our maiden voyage. And all of a sudden, this song was just here. And I wrote everything down. I was hanging out with somebody. I was like, shut up for a second. Everybody just calm down. I'm just going to sit here. Are you okay? I'm writing a song. Hold on. Don't talk to me. And it kind of just all flew together. And it's been so rewarding to see that. That was, like I said, before I even had the group, before I even had musicians to work with. So seeing it live and hearing it and singing it so often has just been that full circle, like, wow, I really wrote this. We really wrote this. It really came together, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling too. Mm-hmm. Like seeing that all accomplished and coming together and blooming into something that's nothing even close to where it started.
Right.
That's usually how the process goes. I mean, I wrote some of the other ones too, like Quiet.
Yeah, Quiet. Like I said earlier, that one, Patty and I were it was our first time hanging out, and we were just kind of fucking around, and he like asked me like the first, rock band song that I could remember from my youth, and it was No Rain by Blind Melon. So we learned that, knocked it out of the park. It's still one of our covers that we do every now and again. And then we were talking about writing and just like testing our ability to work with one another. And it just came right out, like easy. We were actually just talking about just the jokes in it the other day, that there was a moment where we just like hit that wall, as you do when you're writing. And it was like, well, I just need to add another line. And then it was just like, I need to add another line. I hope you can hear me just fine. And it just was like, okay, easy, boom. First song, done. Sometimes
put it in the books.
Sometimes you just do the easy stuff. If it sounds good, if it feels good,
right,
done deal.
Mm-hmm. And I think that transmutes well into like anything that you're doing, you know what I mean? If it's flowing good and it feels good to you personally, then it's gonna feel good to the people out there, because we're all kind of humans and we all kind of experience the same shit and go through the same stuff, different circumstances, but same like core root emotions. And when it's simple and understandable and transpires well like that, it just translates into good music that people can get behind and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had an acoustic song that we wrote, when it was just Matt and I, called Sweet Dreams, about dreaming and wacky stuff like that, and just being the hero in your own story in your mind kind of thing. And I always thought it was just going to be an acoustic song, and was set on that. I mean, I didn't even know I'd have a band within the next 6 months. It's kind of crazy. But in the last year, we decided to make it an electric song and have all the instruments added to it. And when we finally made these tweaks to kind of settle it in its place as the electric song, I mean, I think all of us really get into it now and really have a lot of fun with it, which we were having fun with it before, but this just made it into something still great but different in a totally different way, in a wonderful way that I never would have saw that song going in that direction the way it did. But it's a lot of fun.
Sometimes you got to trust the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Trust the process.
Trust the song, trust the music, trust the process, trust all of it. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen you guys in so long. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the summer. What's going on in the... You guys are going to be at 8th grade or Celebrate Erie?
Celebrate Erie, yes.
What else is going on?
So we're doing Celebrate Erie. That is August 18th through the 20th. More details to come on that. We are doing Chafee's Music Festival in July.
What?
Yeah. This will be our 3rd year at Chafee's, and we're actually going to be on the big stage this year. So we're really excited about that. I love the Chafee's family. I love the event. I love camping and being with my friends out in the woods. I mean, who doesn't, really? Mm-hmm. But that's July 21st and 22nd. And then our soonest upcoming show is for the Riverside Music Festival, June 24th at 7:30 at the Villa. So
That's going to be a good time.
Royek helped us get on that.
Yeah.
So very thankful for that. But again, I'm gonna shameless plug my friends.
No, please.
as well.
That's what you guys are here for.
That's what we're here for. Shameless plug in.
Yeah.
Everybody in the group is in another band, so make sure you check out Step and Pappy for George's band. Make sure you check out Royek for Royek's band, and then Matthew Patty. I know he's trying to look at some other opportunities because he's actually like a classic metal guitarist. Shreds, absolutely shreds. That's totally his genre. And then Logan B in the Dirty Leaf, so he's got that project. He's got Northbound Soul, and he does his own solo and acoustic stuff as well. So we're all out there doing
Check
a
'em
whole lot. But Spades is going to be focusing more on writing this year. So big thing is to catch us when you can. Because we're writing, we're tired. We really hustled last summer. I wish I could. I probably around like 12 to 13 shows, and then like adding group people to the group, and just the shuffle of things. So
Absolutely. You got an album that's recorded now too?
yeah, so we recorded the 4-song EP that has the single Maiden Voyage that will be coming out in a few weeks, Quiet Boys, and Sweet Dreams, the song that I just mentioned to you. So we recorded all of that, but the only one that's ready to go is Maiden. So we're putting in the work to get those done, and naturally we're putting it through the strainer and trying new things, and really just unsatisfied yet because there's just so many creative ideas and so many fun things that we want to do with everything. So
well, thank you guys.
More to come.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for carving out some time to come out and hang with us.
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun.
Everything at Once Studios.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. Check them out. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
At Spades Band, because if you look up just Spades, you're going to find a bunch of card playing games online.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Ooh, at
Unless
Spades
you want to
Band.
play.
Well,
Spades is fun.
it's a decent
Yeah,
game.
it's decent.
It's not Texas Hold'em.
I'll embarrass myself and
bones.
actually say I don't know how to play.
I learned.
Oh, we'll learn.
It was just that
Same.
dream,
Let's all get together. We'll play Spades.
there it
down
is.
here.
Teach you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll play for a lot of money. I'm not that good either.
I'm gonna
It'll
take
be
your cat as a
fine.
wager.
You can't
throw
take
in
it
a
in.
whole-
This show would
This
fall
would
apart,
fall apart
Yeah.
without her.
Without the cat.
We need her. You can't have her. I'll
Can't
never
have her.
let her go.
Darn.
But thanks for coming by. Make sure
been
everybody that
great.
listens to this, follow us, share on Facebook, on Instagram, support us on Patreon if you love us that much. We hope you do. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
ya.
Later.